Hello, everyone. Welcome to Module 4 of our Service Management course. Today, we are going to talk about setting the scene for the guest experience, which happens to be the Chapter 3 of your textbook. Okay, let's start. So, okay, so for our learning objectives for this week is to explain how the service environment affects guests and employees. We are going to talk about and discuss why the service setting or service environment is important. We're going to identify which elements of the service environment need to be managed, and we're going to talk about and describe how individual factors moderate or affect the response of guests. Okay, so if you remember the guest experience formula, the guest experience formula consists of three components. It is service product, service delivery system, and service setting. So this week, our focus is on service setting. Okay, so what is service setting? Well, the service setting is the place that uh, the setting in which the guest experience takes place. For example, for a restaurant, a physical environment in a restaurant or in a hotel, the the lobby, the rooms, the even the parking space, and everything that the customer moves in and sees and feels creates our service setting. Okay, so when we talk about service setting, the word that usually you can see in your textbook, and you will maybe hear in when you go and work in the industry, is the show. So the word show found its way to hospitality literature from Walt Disney when he meant that everyone who's going to the Disneyland, which is we are going to talk about this chapter a lot as a sample. So he introduced the show to hospitality industry and thought that, well, if someone is going to come to our environment, they need to be apart and separate from the other, from the outside world. So you will see this word a lot, and you have to put up a show on your environment. Okay, so class. Today we're diving into the importance of physical aspects of the service setting in creating an exceptional guest experience. Think of a theme park like the Disneyland that we talked uh, about the show. We mean everything that interacts with the guest, and it's all about making you feel like you're a part of an immersive story. Disney truly gets this concept and spends a lot of time and effort to make sure everything from environment to the employee fits into the theme. This approach has influenced many other companies to use themes to give guests extraordinary experiences. So Walt Disney's early success with Disneyland came from his idea that people want to, actively participate in a story rather than just watch it. So it emphasizes how crucial the service setting is in providing, intangible but memorable experiences. So remember, the environment you create can make a huge difference in how your guests perceive the quality and the value of their experience. Okay, so first thing, the shows create fantasy. So these special settings are designed to transport guests into a fantasy experience. Walt Disney was a pioneer in this concept, and his theme parks have inspired others to create all sorts of theme places, including hotels and restaurants. Themes hotels can be incredibly diverse, from cozy igloos to rooms inspired by famous philosophers, giving guests one of a kind and almost dreamlike experience. The key to success of this themed environment is the incredible attention to detail and making sure everything fits the chosen fantasy theme perfectly. For example, what you expect from McDonald's with its unique theme, or to a larger extent that you might have experienced. Uh, the graduate hotels with its unique theme based on the location and the city that is located. Well, it has a theme, and you can totally get what I mean. So, to theme or not to theme, and of course, the theming is a double-edged sword. Uh, on one hand, it brings all elements of the service experience together and creates a strong emotional connection with the guest, which will enhance, of course, their overall experience. For example, luxury restaurants excel at creating fantasy-like environments that creates the guest dining experience. Since restaurants and organizations use this approach to make their service more memorable and distinct. Similarly, hotels and cruise lines have embraced theming to stand out and provide enriched service setting that meet guest expectation. In other contexts, you would see that even universities, like for example, on the game days, will also develop themes to get to its purposes. Even the hospitals have realized the benefits of theming, so they reduce, the stress and the boredom of patients, and it is very helpful for them. So even the hospitals have utilized this. Okay, we talked about the benefits, but there are drawbacks too. So for starters, having themes can limit the interaction of a service offering and gives us limitations on what the organization can provide in terms of service, setting, and delivery. For example, think about theme restaurants like a pirate theme or a jungle theme, or, for example, the Red Lobster. These places usually have a limited choice of food on their menu because they want to match the theme, all right? So, for example, they mostly serve seafood. When a restaurant has a very unique theme like this, it can be really appealing to a certain group of people who like that theme a lot, but it might not be interesting to everyone. So, it can limit the number of customers they can attract. So for restaurants and other hospitality places, it's important to find a balance between having a cool theme and offering a variety of food or services that make everyone feel welcome and happy. That way, everyone can have a great time and enjoy the experience. Okay, control and focus. Considering control and focus, imagine you're in a place like Disneyland where everything feels like it's part of a magical story. To keep that feeling of fantasy alive, they have to make sure everything is just right. So they control and pay close attention to what you see and experience. For example, in theme parks, they design rides, position things in a specific way. They use different kinds of lights and add elements to create the exact feeling they want you to have. Now, this idea isn't limited to theme parks, even in regular hotels or restaurants, they have something similar. They make sure you can only see and experience what they want you to. They might hide things behind the scene and guide your movements so that you stay in the world they've created for you. It's all about making sure you have a good experience. Okay. The next thing is architecture. So, and it's probably what you might have thought about it in the first place when we talk about the show. In the world of our industry, our hospitality industry, the way they design their buildings and spaces is very important. They use something called architectural theming to make their places more interesting and to match a certain story or feeling. So, for example, in Finland, there is a hotel called Klaus K, and it's all themed around the famous Finnish story. So each hotel room represents a different part of that story, like love, jealousy, and mystery. Okay. Or for example, in Las Vegas, we have the Caesar's Palace, and they make you feel like you're in ancient Rome, by using architecture that looks old and Roman. Or for example, Colonials, Williamsburg, they really go all out. You can feel like you're living in the 17th century because the building looks like they did back then, and they even have people acting out what life was like back in the day. Okay, or for example, the Disney in Orlando does that too. Or if you visit the Magic Kingdom, you will see that every building and castle is designed to make you feel, like you're in a fairy tale movie. Even when Disney hires new employees, they use special buildings to, show them what Disney is all about. They use art and architecture to teach them about the Disney culture and what's important. So, in a nutshell, when you go to these places, the way the buildings and spaces look is all part of making your experience special and matching the story they want to uh, tell and sell. So the next topic here is sights and sounds. Sound, especially music and the lighting, are super important in places where you get service like restaurants or stores. They can change how people act. For example, the kind of music and how fast it is can make you eat, drink, and leave a restaurant quicker, or slower. Even the sound in the background, like music, can make you choose different things to buy, like wine. When it's a lovely music and you want to spend more of the time and enjoy your time. So the lighting also is a big deal here. It has to match the type of place you're in. Good lighting should make you, look at what you want and what I mean, good lighting will make sure that the customer looks at what the environment and what the company wants them to see, and make the whole experience, feel just right. At Walt Disney's Magic Kingdom, for example, careful integration of visual and auditory effects creates a seamless and immersive experience for guests as they move through different areas and attraction, uh, or they use a clever mix of things you can see and hear to make your visits feel like you're part of an amazing adventure. It's like they balance, they blend picture and sound together so well that it feels like you're really inside the story. Whether you're in different part of the park or going on the rides. Everything works together to make sure the visitor has a special and like extraordinary experience in the place that they are visiting. So putting up the show is so important that, for example, the Darden restaurant's former employee, for example, says that they spent tremendous attention. The tremendous attention was given to every detail of design to be sure it both reinforces the conceptual positioning of the brand and enhance the comfort of the guests. This encompassed designing the look and feel of the restaurant to create a relaxing yet sophisticated atmosphere that actually feels as though it embraces guests from the moment they arrive until time they leave. So this is very important, the concept of putting up the show and using these kind of approaches like a design approach to make the customer feel that they are exiting the world that they're living in, then they are entering into a quite cool place that takes care of them. Okay,